Just a warning, do not watch this video wearing headphones. Before I start this video, B-Movie Tryhards is a smaller YouTube channel. He's only making these out of love for the franchise, and that's admirable. So go support him if you're willing to. Now that I'm done praising him, it's time to viciously berate him. Everything wrong with, spoilers duh, Final Destination in 16 minutes or less.
Movie teases this dark religious imagery, but it is never brought up in the story.
It doesn't need to be.
Movie shouts out my favorite Doors song, then does not even play the song.
If only "this is the end" wasn't a common phrase before the song. Oh, wait!
Discount Sam Neill.
I mean, he looks like Sam Neill, but are you really allowed to accuse something else of being a discount? Yeah, I know I'm also a discount, but shut up.
The white zone is for immediate loading and unloading of passengers only.
Pre-recorded loading zone announcement at an airport terminal cliché.
Or just real life?
Also, the white zone? That's racist.
Sure.
Sitting this guy's parents for naming their kid Carter.
Apologies on B-Movie Tryhard's behalf for anyone watching this video named Carter.
Discount Matthew Lillard from Scream.
Behold! Hypocrisy.
Look, this is for both of you, alright?
Enjoy this American currency in France.
Have you ever heard of a currency exchange?
Qu'est-ce que c'est l'annonce? What the fuck's he want?
Entire group of French students are selected to go on this international field trip, but none of them comprehend basic French. Either this is the worst teacher ever, or these are a bunch of freeloading dicks.
We specifically know that Clear can speak French.
The airport does not endorse solicitors.
Also, the airport does not endorse solicitors is not basic French.
September 25, 9:25.
Except this French chick would have said 25-9 because they do dates backwards in non-America.
She's probably saying 9:25 instead of 25-9 so that Alex will understand. Alex is American after all. Also, considering she's working in America, speaking English, she's most likely grown accustomed to the way Americans say things.
Alex, let's go take a shit. So why don't you take a shit by yourself?
Discount shit break from American Pie.
A thing from another movie is in this movie.
The toilets in Coach are barely ventilated closets, alright, if that. Like directly after you walks in. Krista or Blake. Do you want them to associate you with that watery sting in their eye, that reflexive gag at the back of their throat?
This guy fucks.
Okay, this sin is dumb, but I thought it was funny.
These guys aren't playing battle shits.
Do they need to?
God damn. Tired of plane crash.
Toilet seat epiphanies.
Yes, that is what's happening.
Did you trade seats with Blake so she and I could sit together? Please?
Manipulation.
They asked nicely and he said yes. That's not what manipulation is.
Notre voyage commence!
This guy could have said anything here, and everyone still would have cheered, because none of these assholes speak any French.
Clear can speak French. Also, just because they didn't know that one specific sentence in French doesn't mean that they don't know any French at all.
Why isn't this asshole buckled up?
Maybe his seatbelt broke. After all, they're on a malfunctioning plane.
You got this? No one gets back on board. That's my call.
Did you know you can identify a pilot's ranking by the stripes on their uniform? Well, you can. Only the captain can make this call. This one-stripe noob is out here bossing folks around, but he's barely a step up from being a peanut pusher.
But if you look closely, you can see that this person actually has more than one stripe. I counted at least 3. Which isn't enough stripes to be a captain, but still.
You must understand my position.
Understand this, you prick.
I don't even know.
Carter came here to kick some ass and fly to Paris, and we're all out of flights to Paris.
Oh, that joke was bad.
Wait, I didn't fight with anyone!
Stifler's gonna stiff.
Look, a sin with absolutely nothing of any value. It's stated in this scene that one of the teachers that got off the plane needs to get back on to watch the students, but later in the movie we see a broadcast stating that 4 teachers died on Flight 180.
Amongst the travelers, a class of 40 students and 4 teachers.
So why did the other guy need to get on at all if there were already 2 teachers watching the students?
You fucking prick! Oh shit!
Why does Flight 180's explosion cause the windows to break? From that distance, nothing would happen to the windows.
You fucking brat! Oh shit!
Where is your god now?
What?
That being said, removing a sin for being one of the best plane crash scenes ever filmed.
Yeah, I agree.
Discount Anthony Edwards.
Stop hypocriting!
That is not Stifler's mom.
She doesn't need to be. By the way, I've never seen American Pie.
Also sending this chick's parents for naming their kid Clear.
I was gonna do the same thing I did earlier with Carter, but I've never met anyone named Clear, so I'll let this slide.
If Clear had an iPod in the scene, you know what it'd be playing.
I'm only happy when it rains.
But that doesn't happen. What's the problem here?
Live my life to the fullest. Why don't you stay off the JD then, huh, Carter?
Just be glad he's only doing the JD and not the drugs.
Look! A sin with absolutely nothing of any value.
I took my driver's test last week at the DMV. Got a 70. It's the lowest score you can get, but I passed.
Reach for the stars, Stiffmeister.
Look! A sin with absolutely nothing of any value.
Listen, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, man, but I miss you.
No homo, bro.
Dude, you're getting dangerously close to Brooke Show levels of meaningless sins.
That's not how shaving works.
Also, why is he even trying to shave? Todd doesn't have an inch of facial hair.
Guy unknowingly averts being killed by several deadly things before being killed by a completely different thing in a Final Destination movie cliche.
This is the first time it was done, so it's not a cliche yet.
The Fapper's Dilemma.
Look, a sin with absolutely nothing of any value.
How are you supposed to read the articles now?
Look, a sin with absolutely nothing of any value.
Looks like he caught the red eye after all, eh?
Warning for anybody who has sensitive ears, turn the volume down.
Look, a sin with absolutely nothing of any value.
Alex is somehow able to hide his erection in this scene.
Look, a sin with absolutely nothing of any value.
Allie Larder is not my girlfriend in this scene.
Remember when that was a CinemaSins running gag? Bad times.
It's how you make me feel, Alex.
Is it getting hot in here?
Look, a sin with absolutely nothing of any value.
These two break into this room even though there is no lock on the door.
This might be one of those doors that only opens from the inside.
Why did they make him up like Michael Jackson?
That's racist.
Stop! Todd's eyelids move despite being dead. I know he's having a cadaveric spasm, but I'm pretty sure eyelids don't move during spasms.
Please. You'll wake the dead.
Obligatory sin removal for Tony Todd.
Of course.
Clearly deranged mortician does not hack these intruders into little pieces even though he could totally get away with it.
Considering he helps them avoid death, why would he murder them? Just because he can? No.
The risk of cheating the plan, of disrespecting the design.
It's implied that Mr. Bloodworth is some sort of agent or messenger of death. But if he's advising these two on the workings of Death's design, wouldn't he actively be working against Death?
All we know about Bloodworth is that he's familiar with Death's design. We have no evidence that he works for Death, so we have no proof that he's betraying anyone.
I'll see you soon.
I agree.
Obviously empty coffee cup is obviously empty.
Maybe she already drank the coffee.
Why is Stifler riding a bike? I thought he just passed his driver's test.
There are many possible reasons why he's not using a car, but the most obvious one is that you have to wait a couple of weeks to get your driver's license after passing the test.
Entire cast is suddenly convened in one place, but instead of killing them all at once, Death continues killing them one at a time because Death is an asshole.
Death doesn't need to kill them all at once, just in the order they were meant to die. Do you think Death is on some kind of deadline?
I will not let this plane crash be the most important thing in my life! Go!
Domestic violence.
No, it's not.
Driver of this bus not only recklessly speeding, but does not apply brakes, before or after smashing into a pedestrian.
The bus was likely out of control, rather than the driver being reckless.
Hi, this is Valerie Luton. I need Agent Shrek.
Implying these FBI guys are on call 24/7, and that they'd take a call from a hysterical woman in the middle of the night.
She probably told them that Alex Browning was outside. A lot of people, including Miss Luton and the FBI, think that Alex is somehow responsible for Flight 180.
I was running because they blame me for everything. They blame me for Todd, they blame me for her, they blame me for the fucking plane crash.
These FBI guys are not only on duty, but right around the corner.
They're in a relatively small town. The FBI would probably be able to show up that quickly.
Sometimes you give me the creeps.
This guy would be excellent at cinema sins.
When did this running joke start? Are movie characters not allowed to be smart?
Wasting delicious vodka.
Look! A sin with absolutely nothing of any...
Also, how long did it take Alex to get back here, considering he left the FBI building on foot?
Considering how quickly the FBI showed up earlier, the building is probably a short walk away.
How does Alex know the house will explode? How even does the house explode?
Alex doesn't know that the house will explode, and the reason the house explodes is because it's full of flammable gas. And there's a bunch of fires.
When I was 10, my dad went into a 7-Eleven for cigarettes.
Discount troubled teen confides traumatic childhood story of her father's tragic death scene from Gremlins.
I get that you don't like this scene, but you hypocritically called something else a discount, so...
We're taking you to my dad's cabin in the woods. It's only a couple miles from my house.
Group of teens trek to a cabin in the woods in a horror movie cliche.
It's not really that cliche, though. Alex is only going there for safety. Usually in horror films where a group of teenagers goes to a cabin, the cabin is anything but safe.
Guy actively being pursued by literal death itself, only just now thanks to put on his seatbelt.
What you showed there was not Alex trying to put on his seatbelt. That was Alex having a premonition of the seatbelt breaking.
Time, huh? I could get nailed running this next red light. You all wouldn't get shit, right? It's only me.
Work that way, Carter.
Discount letting go of the steering wheel to prove a point about free will scene from Fight Club.
Hypocrisy!
Oh, it's also a pointless comparison.
Character on a tirade is horrifically killed mid-sentence by a subtly foreshadowed freak accident in a Final Destination movie cliche.
This is the first time it was done, so it's not a cliche.
What are you, God now?
God's unafraid to die. Gods don't die. We do.
Guy with obvious God complex denies having a God complex for the second time in the movie.
How in any way does Alex have a God complex? Also, the second time? There was no moment before this where Alex claims to not have a God complex.
This cabin is not being swarmed by redneck zombies controlled by technicians from an underground facility.
Stop making pointless references! It's not a sin!
Discount Carl Sagan.
Stop!
I think everybody who ignored the warning at the beginning of this video is dead.
I never moved. Krista asked me to change seats, but I never moved. I would have been up next to Todd. Fuck, why did I remember that? I never moved. Clear seat was in front of mine. Next.
But Alex moved in his premonition. Do you think death designs the end of people's lives around what seat they're supposed to sit in? Alex should still be next. That's why death made an attempt on him a second ago.
Useless cops allow Alex to escape on a rowboat, even though they had more than enough time to tase his ass.
By the time their cars stopped, Alex is already on the boat. You're acting like the police are just sitting there twiddling their thumbs.
Disgusting pool water.
Look! A sin with absolutely nothing of any value!
Alex is a recent graduate of the Prometheus School of Running Away from Things.
For those who are unaware, the Prometheus School of Running Away from Things is a CinemaSins running gag, no air quotes this time, referring to this scene in Prometheus, where this person is running in a straight line from a rolling object instead of running to the side. This reoccurs in multiple other films for some reason, and each time they sin it. But in this scene, Alex doesn't see the tree that falls on him until it's already too late.
Wasting delicious candy.
This sin also has nothing of value, but I forgot to mention it earlier.
Don't touch anything! You're grounded by the tires, okay?
Sitting my 8th grade science teacher for not including this in the course curriculum.
That's definitely the movie's fault. Also, she's not even grounded by the tires. Because the tires are made of rubber, and rubber is an insulator, the electric circuit would not pass through the tires. All of the electrical charges would be outside of the object, which means that Clear, who's inside of the object, being the car, is perfectly safe.
They both survived this.
Technically speaking, Alex was killed by that, but he was resuscitated.
Alex carries detailed diagrams of an aircraft explosion onto a flight and is not immediately detained in a Guantanamo holding cell for several years without charges.
This is a pre-9/11 era. Security wasn't nearly as secure as it was back then. Even today, Alex wouldn't have been arrested because it's a piece of paper. Nobody's gonna take the time to look at what it says. And you can't tell what it says through an X-ray machine.
Wasting delicious wine.
I'm tired of saying the thing.
Guy standing in obvious path of deadly destruction is obviously about to die in the closing shot of a Final Destination movie cliche.
First time it was done, so it's not a cliche. It's time for a bonus section. My phone just made a noise. Ignore that. Do you remember this scene from Final Destination, where Alex is yelling at Carter to stop the car? Well, during this scene, he makes this face. I sent it to Reddit and told them to caption it, so let's see what happened. Alright, first let's go to r/Mauler. They're pretty good at captioning things. See if they got anything. 2 comments. Won't really be that exciting of a bonus segment. I said, how did it make you feel? Alright, let's actually go to the Final Destination community, which is the one I sent, which is the other place I sent it to. Again, only 2 comments, but let's see. I should send this to him and see what he responds with. LMAO. That wasn't really much of a bonus segment. I guess tell me which CinemaSins video I should respond to next, or what other CinemaSins rip-off video, or whatever.